This video is going to cover some of the additional functions related to the report function. These are only available to tournament directors. Now, this is, again, the standard web page for a tournament, and the game number column is just text. It's not links. If you use the pin, if you use a valid pin, they become active links, so you can bring up the report page, but the only buttons are save, unplay, and cancel. Going down to the admin button, bringing up the login and logging in, we get the admin page, which shows various other functions, but for this particular set of capabilities, we just go back to tournament results. Now, at the end of the game reporting video, we had just finished the Friday games. Now, going just to the JV boys in this section, we see that Lamar and Jasper, the winner of Group C and the wild card, are going to play each other in this second semifinal. They also played each other in Game 8. So most teams prefer as much variety as they can in a tournament. So if you say in your tournament instructions or rules that you may swap teams if the wild card comes from the same group as it does in this case, then you can swap C1 with one of these others, or W1, and make everybody happy. And the way to do that is you come to either game here, game 15, and then hit swap. Now this brings up game 15 and then a list of all the other games in the division. We're going to pick game 14. Now if we picked this one, this is a two-way swap, and it basically keeps the teams the same but switches the time and location. So that can be useful, but for this instance we're going to shuffle the teams around, so we're going to pick the four-way icon. Now this shows games 15 and 14, and we can just pull W1 down to B1, drop it, and we've switched B1 and W1. We do the same with these, although that'd be kind of pointless, but you can just drag these whatever order you want here, and they'll switch with wherever you drop it. Now this can be performed, this basic operation can be formed with an edit, but it does take a couple of steps that way, so it's a lot easier to do it this way. Now I have changed the teams, but I need to change the comment, which was to make it reflect that we're C1 and B1 and A1 and W1. And there we have that, and then we hit save, and we come back to here, and we see Springfield and Jasper, Lamar and Webb City, which is the change we wanted to make. So the wild card is not playing a team that it's already played. Now I'm going to finish the single elimination games here, and we'll use the pop-ups here. And we'll make this one okay, that's went to PK, so we have an additional information there. Now it shows the finalists in the bracket, and then we just report the final, and we're done with the JV boys. Now for the other part, we'll go to the JV girls, and here that is, let me see. Now I actually updated this database here without updating the standings. So there, I just updated the standings, which cleaned this up. Now anybody can do that, and it's safe to do it because it basically just syncs up the standings and the brackets and the schedule with the game results that have been reported so far. Now we'll go to game 12, enter a 2-2 tie, enter a 1-5 win for Portland, a 1-3 win for, and at this point B1 is settled, so we have one finalist because Portland's won the group. Now the next game is game 16. We enter a 1-3 result, and then game, okay, Group A is complete now. So we have Group A consolation round and finalists are all set, but we haven't figured out who big B2 and B3 are. Now here we're going to go back to game 17, which is the last group game. Enter a 1-3. You can mix these if you want. There's a 1-3 result for there, so all the consolation opponents and finalists are set. And consolation games are not shown in the bracket, but they are in the schedule. Now, we're going to get to some of the rarely used functions, but they can be useful. Let's say, for the example, that game 19, both teams, Beaverton and Riverside, want to play, but they want to leave a little bit early, so they want to start early. You can come to the report function to get the report page, and then bring up the edit button, and this allows you to change the kind of the game, location among the ones that we know about, date and time, and opponents. We're going to leave the opponents the same, but change the time to 3:50, and the location to all field, and the kind of game to single elimination. This isn't always reasonable, but I'm going to show you a kind of a neat feature. Now, we've edited that game, changing the time, location, and game kind, and we hit save, and whoops. Now, you can see that game 19 is at 3:15 at alt field, and the same opponents. Now, let's say that game 18, the teams just want to go home and don't care if they play each other. We can go to edit and then delete. Now, typically what you would do rather than delete the game is just add a note here that says unplayed, and then you hit save. We're going to go ahead and delete it just to show the function that it works. This is asking for confirmation. We say delete it. Now game 19 is gone. This isn't a real problem. The delete just isn't used that often. So, and there, game 18 is gone. Now, another function that we have is associated with the edit is duplicate. if you want to add a brand new game that's not already in the schedule, not just changing one that's there, you find one that's similar to the one that you want to create, same group and so forth, and you say duplicate. Okay, and then here we want to change this to 430. Well, let's do 425. Keep it. We'll put it on the soccer field, and we change the opponents. We'll change it from B2 to A3 and A2 to B3. So we changed the opponent. We duplicated the game and then changed the time, the field, and the opponents. And this is a consolation game, so we'll say that's a consolation game. And we need to update the comment here, A3V B3, and then hit save. And there we go. Victorville and Cannon Beach, A3, B3. Notice the game number's 22 instead of 18. 18's gone, 22's new, but it's got the same information. So we have, and up here, I should have showed this earlier, but when we changed the second, or the consolation between B2 and A2 to a single elimination game, it knows enough to make that a third place game. So I'm going to go ahead and enter some scores here. And that's shows Beaverton and Riverside, with Riverside getting third. And then the consolation game doesn't show up. And we can also let it go to a tie, since it doesn't matter. In the final, we just enter whatever the final score is, and we're done. We see, so Portland is a champion, Riverside is third, and that's that. Like I said, these functions are not widely used. I don't think they're real hard to use. The edit, basically you change this to whatever you want, and it is used more commonly than duplicate or delete by a long shot. And swap is pretty useful too. So, well, one other thing, you may have noticed on the edit, on the report page, we have edit swap and edit LL. That stands for edit low level. You can change more stuff in this one, and because you can change more, you can screw things up. So I would advise, I have used this page on occasion, so it is useful in rare occasions, but you have to know what you're doing a lot more than the other pages, which tend to make it impossible to make a mistake you can't fix easily. You can make a mistake here that you can't fix very easily, so I would recommend not using it unless you have time to back it out later. So let's see, I'll just cancel out of that, and again, send any questions, comments, or suggestions to me, and I'll certainly consider them all.